morning to you all. My name is Sharmita. I am studying 8th standard in Alpha English Hr.Sec.School. My school has gifted this book to me as I enter the 8th standard. My teachers are very expective of my queries as a budding teenager. Time management. For most students, there simply isn't enough time to get everything done. Because time is limited. Is it important to use it wisely? This is what time management is all about, using techniques and strategy to minimize the time you do have. Determine how much time you have. In my second school term as a university student, I was highly motivated to do my best. I decided to read all assignment materials twice, take conversion notes, complete assignment fully, come prepared to classes, and even read other books relevant to class topics. But after the month, I was behind in every course. I tried catching up, but the harder I worked to do so, the further behind I fell. I became suffocated and unmotivated. What had gone wrong? Like so many students, I will read completely unrealistic while evaluating how much time I had and estimating how long a given activity would take. For example, I did thought that I could read each individual chapter in my microeconomics textbook in 1 hour. Each chapter was approximately 30 pages long, written in a small font and packed with complicated theory. So, unsurprisingly, each took much longer than an hour to get through. What I realized was that I needed to find out how much study time I actually had for studying. Before I could determine how to spend that time, I suggest you do the same. There how I recommended you do it. A week has 168 hours in total. Use this as a starting point and detect a time you need for achieving as a sleep, meals, ensure and others. If you sleep an average of 8 hours a night, then you need to deduct 56 hours for the total. If you spend an average of 2 hours a time on meals, then you need to deduct 14 hours and so on. Let's look at an example. In the above example, you are left with 20 hours per week for independent study. If we assure you take the weekends of this leaves you with 4 hours a day, if you are taking 4 hours, then means 5 hours of studying per course during a week. That is not at all. So you need to think hard but how to use the time most effectively, such as how much time you spend on a given material or exercise, as well as discussed later in more detail. This is also a golden opportunity to identify areas where you can free up sometimes. If you usually spend a long time getting ready in the morning or watching TVs, surfing the internet, for example, you may be able to cut down on one or more of these to buy yourself more time daily. Determine how long it takes to study. Another important practice in which how long it takes for most important study activities, such as reading, reviewing lesson notes, making your own notes and completing problem set. You find out how long it takes to read your textbook. For example, record the time it takes, then divide the number by 4 to get an estimate of the number of minutes required per page. For example, if you take 4 minutes per page and you have average of 60 pages assignment per week in a given course, then it will take you a total of 240 minutes or 4 hours to read everything. Now apply the same approach to other activities. Let's assume that it has taken 4 hours to complete the reading, 1 hour to throw the lesson notes, 2 hours to write your own notes and 3 hours to complete the problem set. If you add up the time needed for all these activities, then you will be set at 10 hours to do everything. If you only have 5 hours for the course, as the example above, you can easily see that your plan is unrealistic. You must prioritize. Utilize gaps. We all have gaps or short period in our daily lives that we do not use for everything productive. waiting for a bus, sitting on a train, walking to school, waiting at the doctor's or dentist office, standing in line, and go on. This time isn't suitable for deep studying as completing difficult problem set, but you can spend it on simple things such making phone calls, answering emails, listening to podcasts, or weaving notes. In high school, I spent my 20 minutes of the daily school bus ride completing my reading assignments. The friend of mine who studied a Prague at a travel 45 minutes for the Tram University each day. He spent the time studying short, handwriting notes. Hey, another friend used to call her parents and grandparents and her way home after classes. If you utilize your gaps as in the example above, you will have more time to lift either important studying or fulfill ensures. Plan your day. Gurus on personal productivity recommended that you spend 10 minutes each day planning your day. What is the goal for your day? What do you need to get done? Set priorities by doing this. You will identify the tasks you will combine and thus organize your day more effectively. Another major benefit of planning is that it combines you certain tasks. Students intend plan that what and they should study spend about twice the number of hours studying compared to students who did not make such plans. Be organized. Do not waste time looking for your pens and notebooks every time you sit down to study. Buy things to need, organize them and keep them that way. The time you spend looking for things might not be so searching every instance, but it's all that's up. It is taking you a long time to find of the items you need to get started. You may use this and ensure not to study at all or risk having it become such an issue. A former classmate of mine struggled with exactly these issues. Every time he came home from the classes, he did not have the energy to find everything he needed to study. So in here, he turned on a TV when he has become more and more of a problem. He decided to try something new. Every morning he arranged his tasks with his textbook open and decided everything he'll say he needed really for use, notebooks, pencils and highlighters. In his way, he overcome his daily obstacles of to studying and his produce increased dramatically. Use a calendar and do-to list. When I was 9 years old, I could remember my haircut appointment without having to write it down in a calendar. But when I was 9 years old, a haircut was typically the only scheduled events for the week. Nowadays, I cannot manage without a calendar in my cell phone. By using the calendar, I open my own capacity in my mind and memory for the things that really count. Writing schedules, activities and to-dos down in paramount. According to David Allen, world-renowned expert and personal productivity, he reminded us that having to remember trivial things by heart keeps one's previous time and energy. Therefore, he recommended that you one place all of your meeting in a calendar on your cell phone and reviewing that at a beginning of each day and to keep to-do list with all the things you needed to get done. Here's an example of the to-do list. Thank you.